Hi everyone, welcome to Smack Reviews. If you love our honest reviews, smack that subscribe button so you never miss out. Since 2011, the Final Destination franchise has been completely silent. With the way that the fifth film tied everything together, a lot of people, including myself, assumed it was done for. So when a sixth movie was announced way back in 2019, it came as a surprise. Still, between the COVID pandemic and the writer's strike, it felt like the project might never actually happen. But after years of delays, Final Destination Bloodlines is finally here. Released in theaters on May 16, 2025, which is also a full 14 years after the fifth movie. So after all this time, does it still capture the formula that made so many fans fall in love with this franchise? I'm happy to say that it absolutely does. Well, let's dive into what Final Destination Bloodlines is actually about, what it gets right, where it stumbles, and where it ranks among the rest of the series.
If you've seen any of the previous Final Destination movies, then you already know the basic setup. Death has chosen a group of people to die, and it won't stop until it gets what it wants. The characters do everything they can to cheat death, but we all know how that usually turns out. But this time there's a twist. Unlike the previous films where someone has a premonition and saves the main group just before a disaster strikes, Bloodlines flips the formula. Death isn't just targeting people who escape death, it's targeting a new generation. These characters are descendants of people who originally cheated death decades ago. In other words, they were never meant to exist in the first place. For me, this is already a refreshing change. Instead of simply reusing the same setup, Bloodlines finds a smart way to expand the lore while keeping the core idea intact. From there, once this new group realizes what's happening, the rest of the movie plays out pretty much as you'd expect, but that's not a bad thing. It's packed with tense build-ups where every little detail in the environment feels like a potential death trap, and it delivers plenty of wild, over-the-top set pieces that fans of the franchise will be familiar with and appreciate. So while the overall story was a welcome change and the death scenes were intense and creative throughout, I did feel that the final act was a letdown. The climax revolves around the last few survivors trying to reach a building, and compared to the explosive finales of past entries, this felt a little underwhelming. It might be the weakest final act in the franchise. That said, everything leading up to it was handled really well, and the movie does end on a final scene that reminds you that this is still Final Destination. When it comes to performances, I genuinely believe everyone brought their best to the table. There wasn't a single actor who felt like a weak link to me. There were two performances I was especially looking forward to: Richard Harmon and Tony Todd. Richard Harmon's character provided some much needed comedic relief, but he also nailed the serious moments when the story called for it. I was especially excited to see him because I've always enjoyed his performances, more specifically in Grave Encounters 2. The Grave Encounter series as a whole is actually my favorite found footage horror franchise, so seeing him show up in Bloodlines was a real treat for me personally.
Even though I was eager to see how this film would stick to the classic Final Destination formula, the one thing I anticipated the most was the return of Tony Todd's iconic character. In case you didn't know, Tony Todd sadly passed away on November 6, 2024, due to ongoing health issues. Before his passing, he did manage to film what would become his final on-screen performance. For his final scene, I really appreciated how they tied his character into the overall story. It felt fitting and respectful to the franchise lore. You can clearly see that his health had taken a toll on him, but that didn't stop him from delivering a powerful moment. While his character was speaking to the group, it genuinely felt like Tony Todd was also speaking directly to us, the audience. I truly believe he knew that this would be his final on-screen performance. His monologue served as both a fitting conclusion to his character and a heartfelt farewell to his fans, a reminder to appreciate life and never take it for granted. Among all the moments in Bloodlines, this scene stood above the rest. It was deeply heartfelt, impactful, and served as a powerful reminder of the legacy Tony Todd leaves behind, especially within the horror genre. He will be deeply missed. With the release of Bloodlines, some people might be wondering where it ranks compared to the other entries in the franchise. Personally, the third Final Destination movie has always been my favorite. I think it had the most intense and memorable deaths of the first 5 films. My ranking of the first 5 has always been 3, 2, 1, 5, and 4. But after watching Bloodlines, I would place it as the second best in the entire franchise. Honestly, it would have taken the top spot for me if only the third act had been stronger.
While Final Destination Bloodlines might not be a perfect film, it's exactly what the franchise needed after a 14-year hiatus. It captures the essence of what made the series iconic, honoring the original formula, introducing fresh lore that meaningfully expands the mythology, and most importantly, delivering a powerful and emotional tribute to Tony Todd. Although the final act didn't land as strongly as I had hoped, the journey leading up to it is filled with tension, creativity, and an overwhelming sense of nostalgia to say the least. Whether or not we get another entry in the series will likely depend on how well Bloodlines performs at the box office, but all signs point to a strong showing. When the trailer was released, it racked up over 178 million views in just 24 hours, making it the second most watched horror trailer of all time, just behind 2017's It, which amassed 200 million views. That alone proves that there's still a massive fan base eager to watch this movie. As for the production budget, I've seen estimates ranging anywhere from 40 to 50 million, which is modest, especially compared to most modern blockbusters. Bloodlines doesn't need to break records to be a financial success.
I genuinely hope this isn't the end. If this movie proves anything, it's that Final Destination still has life left in it. And if future entries are crafted with the same passion and care as this one, I'll be watching with the same excitement I felt when I saw the very first film. Dev clearly has more in store for us, and I can't wait to see what comes next. If you like what you saw, make sure you like, share, comment, and subscribe. Bye!